Hey guys, it's Gina and it is November, which is nuts. So I'm here with my October wrap-up. I read 8 books this month. All of them but one was on audiobook. I do have the physical books of them though. I've been really busy, so I haven't been able to read much. So let's jump right on into this. The first book that I read this month was Ink Spell by Cornelia Funk. This is the second book in the Inkheart trilogy. I'm really enjoying this trilogy. I think I liked Ink Spell a little bit more than Inkheart. Maybe a little bit less. Actually, I think I gave Inkheart 5 stars. I gave Ink Spell 4 stars overall. I did enjoy it. It did give me the feels. It gave me the feels, and that's really all I'm going to say about it since it is the sequel. I started on the 3rd book, but I didn't get around to finishing it, so hopefully I will finish that this month. The next book that I read was Nightmares by Jason Segel and Kristen Miller. This book is about a little boy who moves in to this new house, this big purple mansion type house with his family. After his mom dies and his dad remarries this woman, he starts having nightmares, and the nightmares start getting more intense, and eventually the nightmare world opens up and they can start crossing more frequently. So it takes place really mostly in this nightmare world and is just full of monsters and creatures, and it was a really fun and enjoyable book. It was also really fun to listen to on audiobook because Jason Segel reads it, and getting kind of his take on his own words and kind of his voices and things was really pretty awesome. And I did give this a 4 out of 5 stars. The next book that I read was Horns by Joe Hill. This is actually a continuation read for me. I started reading this last October, but I had things to do and I just never got around to finishing it. I got about halfway-ish through, put it down because this is really kind of a creepy novel and it's something that I wanted to read in October. I finally repicked it up. I did get it on audiobook, so the first half I physically read and the second half I listened to on audio. I think I prefer the audio version just because it jumps back and forth so much, because it jumps back and forth from like time now to time before Ig's girlfriend died, and it got a little confusing and it wasn't really for me. I enjoyed it. I think I enjoyed the movie better. It does play well as a movie, and I do enjoy Joe Hill's writing. This one wasn't exactly for me, and I did give it a 3 out of 5 stars. The next book that I read was The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. I don't think this needs any explaining. It's The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. It's super quick, super short, because it is a children's book, and I love Charlie Brown, and it was Halloween, and obviously I'm not going to be able to show you any of the pictures. So it just kind of tells the story of the Great Pumpkin, and it was fun, and I did give it a 5 out of 5 stars. The next book that I listened to was Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn. I read this for the Creep Along Read Along that was going on this month, and you guys might know by now that I just do not flow with Gillian Flynn's writing. I have a love-hate relationship with Gone Girl. I enjoyed it, but I also kind of really hated it. I DNF'd the other one, Dark Places. This one was better than Dark Places, but again, I DNF'd that, so that's not hard to do. I did give this a 2.5 out of 5 stars. It just wasn't for me. I can't stand her writing. She writes miserable characters that you don't want anything to do with, which miserable characters are fine as long as, there's a reason. Like, I don't know. There was a reason she was miserable, but I can't. I can't do her writing, and I probably won't pick up anything else she writes now that I've read her 3 things that are out. I don't know. I feel like I might because people tend to love her. People seem to love her. I'm not one of those people, and it bothers me. Stuff that she writes about bothers me. And actually, one of the things that bothers me most about this book is just something so minute and little that probably no one else even picked up on. They were calling, because it's all about murders in this town, and this journalist who actually now lives in Chicago gets sent back home to her town to cover the story. So the murders, they start calling them a serial killer after only 2 murders. That bothers me because you cannot be classified, or you cannot classify a murderer as a serial killer until there are 3 or more kills. It's just 2 kills could be a coincidence. 2 kills could be a copycat. 2 kills does not make a serial killer. A serial killer is 3 or more kills. And that just bothered me so much that they kept classifying it as a serial killer. Oh, it's a serial killer. Oh, it's a serial killer. No, it's not. Not yet anyway. If they kill again, yeah, then it will be a serial killer. That just bothered me. That's something really silly and stupid to bother me, but it did. So I did not enjoy this book. Like I said, I enjoyed it more than Dark Places, but that's not hard to do because I hated Dark Places so much. The next book that I listened to on audio was We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. I really enjoyed this. It was a little predictable for me. I kind of saw this big twist coming. I didn't exactly know how it was going to happen, but I did see it happening, and for that I did have to mark it down a little bit, but it was enjoyable. I did enjoy listening to it. It was a fun kind of mystery-ish book, and basically We Were Liars are about these cousins and this friend of a family member all kind of meet at this lake house every summer, and they just kind of hang out through the summer, and they call themselves liars, and it's just basically about their journeys, and that's really all I'm going to tell you because I don't know how much of it would be spoiler, but it was a lot of fun to read and kind of good for the creepy mystery-ish feelings of October. I did enjoy listening to it, and I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. The next book that I read was Dad is Fat by Jim Gaffigan. If you guys have been around for a while, you know that Food, A Love Story by Jim Gaffigan is one of my favorite audiobooks. I mention it pretty much anytime anyone asks for an audiobook because it is fantastic. Jim Gaffigan reads it himself, and anyone who enjoys food will enjoy that book. It is fantastic. This book was just as good, not as good for me. I feel like I would like this more if I had children and I could relate to it better, but since I don't have kids, I could really only relate to my experiences with my little cousins or with other people's kids. I don't have these experiences firsthand. And a lot of this is just talking about what it's like being a father of 5 children and kind of experiences that he goes through. Some of the book is non-children specific, but there's still like the hint of kids, and it was just really fun to listen to. I do love Jim Gaffigan's reading style, I guess, because I did listen to it on audiobook, and he is hilarious. He's supposed to be hilarious because he is a comedian, and it was really good, and I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. And the last book that I listened to on audiobook was Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone by J.K. Rowling. I am starting Harry Christmas to You a month early because I want to listen to them all on audiobook this year because I love these audiobooks, and I figured I better start soon because there are holds on these audiobooks on Overdrive because they just recently added them to my Overdrive and a lot of people want them. So I figured I might as well start early. I actually put this on hold a couple of weeks ago. It finally came the last week of October, and I love Harry Potter. It needs no explanation. It's Harry Potter. But I am starting Harry Christmas to You early. I do have books 2 and 3 on hold on Overdrive. I'm probably going to get book 3 before I get book 2, so chances are I'm not going to be listening to these in order, but I do plan on reading the illustrated Philosopher's Stone at the beginning of December. So that one I will specifically read during Harry Christmas to You. The others might get done before then. And these next 2 books I'm just going to mention because I started them in October, but I just wasn't feeling them and they were making me a little slumpy, so I set them aside. I do plan on picking them up again soon at some point, hopefully. But the first is World War Z, and I am enjoying it. I really like the journalist aspect and kind of the log entry aspect of it. It is a lot better than the movie because I have watched the movie and I hated the movie, but I am enjoying that. And the last one is Ink Death, which I mentioned earlier. I started it. It didn't jump into the action as quickly as I was hoping it would because Inkspell leaves off in a huge cliffhanger, and I was hoping to pick right back up with the drama, and it's kind of a slower start, and it's a longer book, and I'm just not feeling a super huge book right now. So I sent it back to the library, and hopefully I will get to it before the end of the year. And the last book I want to mention is Welcome to Night Vale. I've been so busy. I'm not very far into it, and that's sad. So hopefully I can finish this week. I'm hoping. I'm hoping. And that is all I have for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments what your favorite Halloween read was, if you read specifically for Halloween. For me, I mean, Harry Potter is an obvious choice, but I think my favorite Halloween-ish type book that I read this month was Nightmares by Jason Segel and Kristen Miller, I believe. It was just fantastic. It was a really fun kind of middle grade book to read, and there is a sequel out or coming out, and I'm pretty excited for that one as well. So again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you are having a fantastic day. Happy November, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.